It's really a boot camp. It's a boot camp for wannabe politicians.
We can give them a sense of expectations, of the basic structure of our democracy, our constitution, relationships that they will have to build either with political parties, with special interests, the dangers of conflict of interest, ethical challenges they may meet.
Well, the things you won't learn in a textbook. It's experience of battle-scarred old political warriors like myself, Preston Manning.
We've agreed to provide the practical end. They're going to pair us up with an academic, and hopefully that's going to be beneficial to the people that take this Summer Institute for Political Leadership. In the old days, the idea was you could learn by doing. You got yourself elected and you kind of learned on the job, but these days that's almost impossible. You make one mistake and the instant communications, you can be in deep trouble before you ever get started.
I don't think most people understand what it means to live your life 24/7 in the public eye. And that puts enormous pressure not only on the elected official, but on that person's family.
Would that be part of this curriculum?
Yes, those are the kinds of things people need to understand, because I'm a firm believer that if you have a family, it's a family decision as to whether you stand for elected office. How laws are made at the three levels of government in our country.
Many people arrive at the Parliament and didn't even know that part of the job is lawmaking. Like at the end of the day, if you're elected to a legislative assembly or a parliament or municipal council, you make laws. In fact, you're the only people that can make laws.
My role is to be the sort of on-air interviewer, and their role is to be the politician in the hot seat, and then we talk about it.
They're given a fact pattern that maybe is similar to issues or scandals that have happened in the past, and we put our participants on the spot of how to answer a journalist when you're in a really tough bind.
The first time walking into the chamber felt very special. The decisions that are discussed here and finally made here, they affect everybody in British Columbia.
We are here not for ourselves, but on behalf of our constituents.
The most memorable moment was the question period, where we could blast the government side and make them justify the decisions that they made. This course has given an exposure which no other course, I don't think there is any in this country at this point that would give you this perspective. Sitting in the BC legislature, experiencing what a politician experiences, it has given me a very different perspective on what politics is.
Banging on the table, yelling at each other, and I brought it up in my last speech, is we're in a respectful place, and I think we should treat this with more respect rather than banging on the tables.
What I see is that there's two options. You either give that mandate to the provinces, province by province, they have their chunks of information that they individually.
I learned that it's really easy to get stuck into the status quo of things.
It is really easy to fall into existing roles. We need to experiment a bit more with what Parliament could look like. What is this model Parliament that we're talking about? Because I feel like we're just scratching the surface here. So really digging deeper.
And the repartee that goes back and forth that I saw here, I think is excellent.
I thought the tone was very good, all respectful but some bite.
It was very, very impressive. And I agree with Mike, you are the future.
But from what I've seen so far, you're ready to leave AAA and go to the big leagues.
I congratulate you to spend your weekends like this. I just think it's fantastic because we need more people like you.
It would have two purposes. One is to provide heavy-duty training for people who think they would like to sit in an elected assembly. And the second would be to serve as a laboratory for structural and procedural reforms that you can never experiment with in the real parliament or the real legislature.